way. All right. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order, the January 28, 2025 board meeting. Rebecca, will you call the roll?
Woodard.
Here.
Alonso Diaz.
Here.
Avila.
Here.
Beltram.
He's here. He's in the back.
Ballard. Here. Brebner.
Here.
Chido.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Lohmeyer. Here. Millis.
Here.
Ogle. Thompson.
We have a quorum. First up, I'd like to ask for an amendment to approve the agenda. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Just due to a couple of folks we're waiting on, we're going to skip down to the minutes and just try to knock out a couple of things before the rest of our guests arrive. So with that said, if we could, I could request a motion to approve the minutes, please. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. First up is for board action, we have subcommittee appointments, and Jenny, if you wouldn't mind popping up just in case. I'll just maybe kick us off and note that, first of all, thanks, Jenny, for your work on this. We've spent a little time getting those updated and some consistency going moving forward, but if you want to go ahead and offer any comments.
Absolutely.
Please do.
Good evening, Chair Woodard, members of the board. As Andrea mentioned, it is very straightforward this year, pretty much just a recycle and re-up. So happy to take any questions, but all of our subcommittee representatives are doing a fantastic job.
Thanks, Jenny. And I'll also just note that we will have terms ending in 2026. So if anyone has interest in serving on one of our committees moving forward, please let myself, Ben, Jenny, or the future chair know. So any questions for Jenny from the board? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve. Rebecca, will you call the roll?
Woodard.
Yes.
Alonso Diaz.
Yes.
Avila.
Yes.
Beltram. Ballard. Yes. Bremner. Yes. Chido.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Lohmeyer.
Yes.
Millis.
Yes.
Ogle. Thompson.
Thank you. The motion is approved. Next up is our receive and file item. We have a fee waiver report, and Janice, I believe, is going to give us an update on the fee waivers.
I'll cover for Janice on this one. That Janice does do this work. This is our annual report for transparency. So we do waive fees for our neighborhoods to use our shelters, for local nonprofits to use events in our parks. So every year we do this full report. That way the public can see. And this year that totaled just a little over $9,000 in rentals, which is in line with our 5-year average. Upon completion of your receive and file, we present that to the city manager for his records as well.
Thank you, Ben. Can I get a second?
Second.
Now, is there any discussion? Questions from the board? Any from the public? Hearing none. All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Next up is our director's report. Ben.
I have no report tonight, but if you want to hang out after the awards ceremony, we can discuss any items that you all have. So,
All right, I think, and also our final item on the agenda was to touch up base on any committee reports, but given meetings will happen next month, we don't seem to have any of those. Why don't we go ahead and recess for a minute until the rest of our guests come? Or
I think
what
we
do you
can
think,
start.
Ben?
That'd be all right.
Yeah, absolutely. Ben, you're up.
All right. Want to welcome everybody. I'm Ben Page, the Parks and Recreation Director. This is our annual volunteer recognition ceremony, something that we consider our favorite meeting of the year because we get to see the work of so many great individuals that make Des Moines one of those best places to work, live, and play. I do want to recognize our city council is also here. Let me start by my favorite, the mayor. Where's she at? I'm just teasing. You're all my favorite, by the way. Mayor Bozen, followed by the city manager. Scott, would you raise your hand? Scott Sanders. At large, Mike Simonson. Ward 1, Josh Mandelbaum, right? 3, sorry, I'm looking at the order wrong here. We have Linda in Ward 2. Carl Voss, would you raise your hand? 3, at large, sorry. And then Joe Gatto as Ward 4. And we're hoping to get 1 or 2 more coming here in a second. So this is the Park and Recreation Board, and up first, before she starts, is I always like to recognize our volunteer supervisor, Callie Leay Courtright, and her team. It takes a great amount of work to make sure all volunteers have a professional experience. We do our best to match them up with whatever their desires are within our mission. But she's been doing this for 17 years, all right?
15 maybe.
Well, 15 to 17. You started about when I started. That's how I know.
It's been so fun, I've lost count.
Yes, she started about when I started. That's why I remember
Yeah.
the time period about that. But she has literally seen tens of thousands of volunteers come through. I asked her to give me a quick little couple facts. I just want to read you some fun facts before she starts off on our ceremony. So just in 15 years, we've now had over 381,000 hours of volunteer service, which is over $10 million in attributed value to our park and recreation system, whether that be coaches that coach youth sports, the individuals that help keep our trails and parks clean, or preserving historic documents for our cemetery records. But most importantly this is the fact that blew me away that I haven't seen before, is we have over, since these last 15 years, 52,000 unduplicated volunteers. You think about our population just being over 200,000-ish. Almost a quarter of what would make up our city, not that they all come from Des Moines, but the majority do, have volunteered in the park and recreation system. And again, I want to say that's because of the great work that Kelly does. So Kelly, I've set you up. Give us the great program that you always do, and I'm looking forward to this.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Bozen, City Manager Sanders, council members, Chair Woodard, members of the Parks and Recreation Board. I'm Callie Layout Courtwright, Parks and Recreation Supervisor. Thank you for joining us this evening for our 2024 awards to honor our volunteers and community partners. It's an honor to work with all of you and our volunteers we are here to recognize this evening. As President Barack Obama once said, if you go out and make some good things happen, you will fill the world with hope. And the volunteers we gather here tonight to recognize have gone out into our community and done just that. They have made good things happen, and they have filled our world and us with hope. Tonight, we will hear just a few of their amazing stories as we celebrate our award winners and the 5,317 volunteers that helped us in 2024. We have so many things to celebrate. I'm pleased to announce tonight an incredible milestone for Des Moines Parks and Recreation. After years of work, we are officially an accredited service enterprise organization through the Association of Leaders in Volunteer Engagement. Des Moines is the first city parks and recreation department in Iowa to achieve this certification, which recognizes Des Moines Parks and Recreation in the top 11% of volunteer engagement organizations nationwide. This was only possible through teamwork. Our volunteer engagement team worked closely and intentionally with key staff and with our friends of Des Moines Parks and essential partners. Thank you to the entire team. We were able to demonstrate our strategic use of volunteers and how we leverage their skills and expertise to gain a greater return on volunteer investment. For every dollar our city invests in volunteer engagement, we see almost double the return on our investment from our community into Des Moines Parks and Recreation. As part of this process, we were able to create a new volunteer vision on how our volunteer engagement can help Des Moines' quality of life. We have some new efficiencies and processes coming in 2025, and we're really excited for the future. We will continue working together to learn, to grow, and to adapt, taking our department to a whole new level. And growing we are. Tonight, we gather to celebrate another gold medal-worthy year, working towards our mission of helping Des Moines live well, play hard, and protect the earth. The nationally recognized and award-winning Des Moines Parks and Recreation team that I am so proud to be a part of has led incredible growth in volunteer engagement, always changing, always growing, always learning, and always looking for ways for others to join us in that journey. In the past 15 years, as Ben mentioned, more than 52,000 unduplicated volunteers have donated over 381,000 hours of service. This service is valued at more than $10.3 million. This award-winning team, with support from our city manager and leadership, is also giving back in the community. They've volunteered hundreds of hours themselves in Des Moines. Volunteering in the community helps them understand what it takes to make a great volunteer experience. It helps them come back and keep our volunteers engaged in doing good in our community. And in 2024, we had 5,317 volunteers donate more than 33,000 hours of service, valued at over $1.1 million. That's 3 years in a row of more than $1 million of service donated to Des Moines Parks and Recreation. And what does $1 million of service look like? It looks like volunteers making sure our public lands, and waters are clean. It looks like every child having equitable access to recreate and learn. It looks like finding warm respite in winter, helping grow hundreds of thousands of plants in our greenhouse so that we can beautify our parks and neighborhoods and promote growth and investment in our city. It means taking care of one another and our community in the worst of times and enjoying each other's company in the best of times. It looks like 225% growth in dog park ambassadors to support our furry friends, and being a deadheader in our garden, removing dead blooms from our plants. It looks like adopting 41 parks and trails and 119 blocks in our cemeteries. Their passion for our community can be seen each and every day, and we're thankful for each and every one of them, and again, all of you. So I'm incredibly humbled and honored to stand before you this evening to celebrate this year's award winners and their outstanding contributions to the City of Des Moines Parks and Recreation Department. Congratulations to tonight's honorees. Although he has only been with the department 2 years, almost 3, Parks and Recreation Supervisor Mike Ball has taken the volunteer engagement in athletics and youth sports to a new level. Mike improved seasonal coach and staff communications, resources, and planning. Under his leadership, they've seen a greater than 75% increase in participation. He is actively working with the community to develop volunteer incentives, and is committed to recognizing the impactful work our coaches do. Mike makes sure our youth sports program philosophy is clear and coaches understand our leagues are focused on skill development, good sportsmanship, and building self-confidence, and he provides them the resources to do it. He also works closely with our Friends of Des Moines Parks to continue implementation of the Every Kid Gets a Ball program, distributing thousands of free balls to youth, giving them the opportunity to play on their own time and further increase their interest in sports. Ryan Westerkamp from Des Moines Public Schools shared, Mike demonstrates exceptional dedication to his role and excels in his communication with volunteers and partners. I have worked with Mike through our partnership for 3 years, and I've consistently been impressed by his professionalism and ability to foster strong, productive relationships. In 2024, Mike's volunteer engagement was incredible. He supervised 235 volunteer coaches who donated more than 6,100 hours, valued at more than $200,000. For his demonstrated leadership and initiative with his team, our partners, and our volunteers bringing youth sports to Des Moines, please join me in recognizing Mike Ball as our 2024 Volunteer Supervisor of the Year. Helping present his award this evening are Councilmember Westergaard and Recreation Manager Janice Steele.
You're in the middle. Mike's a man of many words, so we actually give him about 10 minutes to speak here. He will stay.
Yes, Mike has asked to not speak.
Mayor, do you want to take a little step that way?
Thank you, Zoe. Congratulations. Upcycle, an award-winning conservation partnership with the City of Des Moines, Blank Park Zoo, Trees Forever, Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation, and Confluence Brewing Company, has helped improve our community's water quality, diversify our woodlands, and upcycle our invasive species into food and fun for Blank Park Zoo's birds, reptiles, primates, and mammals. These partner organizations have activated and engaged their organization's volunteers to help cut, remove, and treat invasive plants to help restore our woodlands and parks, making space for our native plant species whose deep roots hold soils in place, helping prevent runoff and improving our water quality as well. They transform our parks with a variety of hand tools, hard work, and sweat. And the plants they remove fill an important need for the Blank Park Zoo. Afterwards, they connect over a cold drink provided by Confluence Brewing. It has been inspiring to see this multi-organizational partnership flourish and share volunteer resources as they complete important work within our city and work that helps each of their organizations' missions and priorities. Since 2014, this conservation partnership has had 432 volunteers donate more than 1,200 hours valued at over $36,000. For their longtime conservation support and leadership, please join us as we honor our Upcycle partners and their volunteers from Blank Park Zoo, Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation, Trees Forever, and Confluence Brewing with the 2024 Special Volunteer Award. Helping present their award this evening are Councilmember Carl Voss, Parks Manager Mike Gall, and Field Coordinator Rachel Hainfield. This is a great group. And swish. Got it? Thank you. Chris Eccles from Blank Park Zoo would like to say a few words. What? Yeah, didn't you say you wanted to? You don't have to. Did you want to? Forgot about that. Yes. That's okay.
We would just like to thank Des Moines Parks and Rec for helping us all come together so that we can do some great stuff. I think people think the Blank Park Zoo is a fun place to go with your family, but there's a lot of conservation work that's being done. And with partners like the Des Moines Parks and Rec, Confluence, Iowa Natural Heritage Foundation, and Trees Forever, it shows that when we all come together, we can get great things done. So thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Ten years ago, Rick Miller, former Dean of Students at Finley Elementary in Des Moines, reached out to us trying to engage his students in Earth Day Trash Bash. Over the next decade, he mobilized his students to work side by side with he and other teachers in our parks. Rick inspired a culture of giving back, and collectively, the students and teachers gave more than 1,300 hours of service to keep our parks, including Birdland and Union Parks, clean and beautiful. He ensured volunteerism was encouraged and celebrated as an integral part of student life. And over the years, Rick returned each spring. Through that time, he brought over 380 student volunteers into our parks for Earth Day. They collected thousands and thousands of pounds of trash and learned the importance of civic engagement. Their service is valued at more than $38,000. Beyond the impressive numbers, the true measure of Rick Miller's impact lies in the lives he has touched and transformed. For his lifetime contributions in our education community and for creating meaningful service opportunities for his students, please join us as we honor Mr. Rick Miller with the 2024 Special Volunteer Award. Rick could not be here this evening in person, but he did share a statement with us. We can go ahead and give him a round of applause, though, because he may be watching online. Rick shared, I honor the students who were part of the 5th grade leadership group, aptly named Cool Kids, kids offering outstanding leadership. Des Moines Parks and Recreation gave them the opportunity to hone their leadership skills such as conflict resolution, social skills, communication skills, team building skills, and through participating in the Earth Day Trash Bash events. The students with great enthusiasm wanted to impact their neighborhood and clean up the environment in the process. Because of this, they were able to work together for a common cause and give back to their community, one in which would impact their lives and the lives of others around them now and in the future. As a few students over the years put it, they had neighbors come out of their houses and comment on how it made them feel to see students really making a difference in the place in which they lived. Students walked away with pride, feeling a sense of joy about what they had done. I accept this award on behalf of all students who participated in this event each year and thank Des Moines Parks and Recreation for supporting our youth and achieving their leadership goals. Thank you, Rick. Coach Lucas Tinberg coaches almost every youth sport the City of Des Moines Parks and Recreation Department offers. He has several kids in our programs and yet still manages to coach multiple teams without hesitation. Even with competing priorities, he has great time management, communicates well with parents and staff, and is excellent at developing youth sports teams. He teaches fundamentals and, more importantly, the importance of teamwork. Our athletics team appreciates all that he does to make our youth sports a great experience for youth and their parents, and they can't think of anyone more deserving this year. For his leadership and overall commitment to the youth in our community, please join me as we honor Lucas Tinberg as the 2024 Volunteer Coach of the Year. Helping present his award this evening are Councilmember Joe Gatto, Recreation Manager Janice Steele, and Parks and Recreation Supervisor Mike Ball.
Yeah, she's coming. I was going to tell you.
Yes, most definitely. Thank you. Congratulations. Brent Millis exemplifies the spirit of volunteerism, turning passion into action and creating a profound impact on our community. His dedication to improving the lives of children through initiatives like the Study Buddies tutoring program has empowered students to thrive academically, especially in math, and discover a love of learning. He was pivotal to the program's creation and its success. When he approached staff about this idea, he wanted to not be the only voice, but instead a call to action. He connects with the students on a personal level, but Brent has also provided additional learning resources such as flashcards, study materials, and even computers for those who needed them. Beyond educating community youth, his contributions as a Parks and Recreation board member and Golf Advisory Committee volunteer reflect his commitment to community service. For his initiative and volunteerism supporting the learning of Des Moines youth, please join me in honoring Brent Millis as the 2024 Friend of the Year. Helping present this award this evening are Councilmember Chris Coleman, Assistant Director Jenny Richmond, Recreation Manager Janice Steele, and Parks and Recreation Supervisor Amar Nagusi. Yeah. Kids, you can come forward too. Thanks, Mom. Thank you. Brent has asked to say a few words.
Thank you. So I sit on the board. This wasn't even on my radar. I just feel like I'm doing what we're supposed to be doing. But I really sincerely wanted to thank the folks that said some really nice things to me, about me for this, the application for this award. And the honest truth is, Deb Chido, you were my initial motivation, because Amar would get up, give his report, and you would ask valid questions about education programs. And so I got to thinking to myself, it's like, it's no secret, our public schools, there's always such a challenge, and our teachers need help. And so I went to Amar, I'm like, how can I help with this? And I don't know what I got myself into, because I don't have kids. I've never tutored before, but I got the flashcards that my own mom used on me, the multiplication tables. And I just think that, we're better as a society when we're educated, okay? We truly are, but we all don't start on the same level playing field. And so it's been so rewarding doing this. And I told Ben that I'll keep helping as long as my schedule can allow, but we have more slots to fill. So my challenge to everybody in this room, including the board, is that you give so much now, your time and your hard-earned money. But if you're looking at another way to kind of volunteer, another angle, come do this. It's not like we're teaching calculus, okay? You can, a stack of multiplication flashcards does wonders to help. And so, consider that. If you're looking for a challenge, come talk to me, figure it out. And lastly, I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for my wife, Jill. So it's the best thing that ever happened to me. So,
Over the past 3 years, Mary Christopher and Mike Rowley have spent countless hours writing a history of Woodland Cemetery in Des Moines. Their passion for this local landmark is impressive. Mary and Mike worked with 7 other individuals and cemetery manager Ganesh Gampat to bring unique stories of those interred in our cemetery to the public. They led volunteer efforts, including donating over 2,000 hours of service from the book's conception to publication. They were integral to the Central Iowa book launch events and were featured in the Iowan magazine, as well as several media outlets on radio and television while promoting the book. Over 1,200 copies of the book have been sold, with proceeds going to cemetery preservation and restoration. They have gone above and beyond, pouring their heart and souls into preserving the history of our city's oldest cemetery. For their incredible leadership on the Woodland Cemetery book and their commitment to honoring and remembering the stories of those laid to rest at Woodland, please join me as we honor Mike Rowley and Mary Christopher as our 2024 Volunteer Group of the Year. Helping present their award this evening are Councilmember Josh Mandelbaum, Parks Manager Mike Gall, and Cemetery Manager Ganesh Gampat. Mary Christopher could not be here this evening, so after Mike accepts his award, we do have a short acceptance speech to play for you to share on her behalf. Thank you, Mike. Yep, you're good.
Can I just mention a couple of things? Am I loud enough without a microphone?
Yes.
Okay, I'll keep it short, I promise. But really, I just wanted to thank. There's a lot of other authors on this book, and Christine and Wade are here as well. But also, really wanted to thank the city council members, both current and past, that have really viewed Woodland as an open-air historic museum and really a key part of the history of Des Moines. They've left it better than they found it, and that goes with the director of the park board, Ben Page and Mike. And every day they're, I'm sure, faced with problems that they have to come up with solutions. And seems easy, but it's not. So, of course, we're promoting a book, and I thought I'd share two quick stories from the book. One was a article from the Des Moines Register in 1878, and this was a solution that was offered by the then city council. So I think we've come a long way. I'll read it to you shortly. A resolution was adopted requiring all lots in Woodland Cemetery to be paid for before January 1st, 1879, and instructing the mayor to remove the bodies from the lots not paid for. I think we've come a long way. The last thing that I would mention from the book, I've got a few names here, and I'd like to have you figure out what these people have in common. George Davis, George W. Bush, Benjamin Franklin, Frank Gifford, Annie Hall, George Hamilton, Stephen Hawkins, Helen Hayes, Harold Hughes, Thomas Jefferson, Grace Jones, Grace Kelly, George Kennedy, Captain Thomas Kidd, Willie Nelson, George Patton, William Penn, Walter Reed, George Reeves, and finally Elizabeth Taylor. What do they all have in common? There's people of those names all buried in Woodland Cemetery. If you haven't been there recently, please go and see the improvements, and I think it's a starting place for the history of Des Moines. Thank you very much.
On behalf of the Woodland Cemetery Book Team, I thank you for the nomination of our group and also for the honor of this award today. While we had a large volunteer team, Mike Rowley agreed to officially be my co-author. So he and I have been the ones responsible for making the Woodland Cemetery book presentations everywhere from retirement communities to libraries and bookstores, to various clubs and organizations, to the senior college programs, and more. Time does not permit my mention of everyone on our team today. They were all volunteers, but please buy our book, and you can read all about them in the book. All the sales proceeds go to Woodland Cemetery Restoration. Ganesh Ganpat, I also really want to thank. He was instrumental in the creation of our book, really from start to finish. He acted as a cheerleader in chief, liaison, and advisor, always making sure that things were running smoothly, on track, on time, and on budget. The book would not have been possible without Ganesh's help and support for our group from the beginning, from the day that I approached him at Woodland Cemetery on a tour and said, I'd like to write the book. So thank you all so much.
The Stelter Company believes that individual generosity can transform the world, and their corporate generosity has. They have been volunteering with Des Moines Parks and Recreation since 2013, donating over $10,000 in corporate volunteer time. They've cleaned up our parks and restored our cemeteries, preserving monuments and history for generations to come. And throughout the pandemic, they continue to find safe ways to give back. And when their company was ready to be back together as a whole, they chose to give back in the city of Des Moines. The past few years, they've helped us maintain safe play spaces for our children. They've moved wheelbarrow after wheelbarrow after wheelbarrow of mulch, all with a smile on their face. Our team has enjoyed the Stelter Company's hard work and their humor time after time. For their collective volunteer impact over the years and ongoing corporate commitment to Des Moines parks, cemeteries, and playgrounds, please join us in honoring the Stelter Company as our 2024 Corporate Volunteer Group of the Year. Helping present their award this evening are Parks and Recreation Board Chair Andrea Woodard and Field Coordinator Katie Canton. I tell you, they work really fast too. Yeah. Thank you. For this next presentation, I'd like to invite Friends of Des Moines Parks Executive Director Sarah Lohmeyer up.
Good evening, friends. We're gathered here tonight to celebrate the extraordinary contributions of individuals, families, and local organizations whose generosity has enhanced our parks and enriched our community. This evening, it is my distinct honor to present the Friends of Des Moines Parks Partner of the Year Award to Jim and Patty County, recognizing their invaluable support and commitment to our park system. Their generosity has truly transformed our city and region into a better place for all, and has had an extraordinary impact on countless members of our community. Jim and Patty exemplify the spirit of philanthropy and have been instrumental in creating meaningful new park amenities. Over the years, they've championed numerous park initiatives, including but not limited to County Baseball Park, County Soccer Park, George Davis Softball Park, County Sports Park Directional Arches, the Principal River Walk, Papa John's Sculpture Park, the presenting sponsor of the Friends' largest annual fundraiser for our park's golf outing and bike ride, Grays Lake Park, the Reichart Community Recreation Center, the Blank Park Zoo, the Brian Melton Handball Courts, and more. Our very own Des Moines Park and Recreation Director, Ben Page, reinforces the significance of their partnerships sharing. Our parks and recreation system is a testament to Jim and Patty's lifetime of generosity and unwavering dedication to ensuring Des Moines remains the best city to live, work, and play. Through countless donations of time and treasure, Jim and Patty have helped us create iconic, transformative park amenities that not only bring joy to our community, but also serve as a cornerstone for attracting and retaining businesses and residents. These beloved spaces have anchored our city's vitality, making it a destination for new families and businesses while fostering a sense of pride and connection among those who call it home. Because of their generosity, Jim and Patty's legacy will continue to inspire and shape our community for generations to come. They've not only invested in recreational spaces, but have been an inspiration for so many others to get involved. Jim and Patty's support has been crucial in helping us achieve our mission of better parks for a brighter community. Their dedication to creating a more vibrant city for all could not be more apparent. Jim and Patty, you've shown us that if we invest in our parks, we invest in the health, happiness, and future of our entire community. Would the Friends of Des Moines Parks please join me up front at this time?
Hey, Mikey, thanks, Jim, thank you. I guess I'm Councilman, or you Judge? Councilman?
On behalf of the Friends of Des Moines Parks Board and staff, and Sarah, it is our pleasure to recognize you as the Friends of Des Moines Parks Partner of the Year. Let us collectively applaud Jim and Patty as their generosity, dedication, and passion to our park system has made an indelible and lasting mark on the community. Helping present their award this evening are the Friends of Des Moines Parks Board.
We'll give you the floor.
Do you want to come on up?
There's a microphone over here, Jim, if you'd
Right
like to
here.
use. He can speak louder.
Okay. Jim would like to say a few words.
Be happy to. Can you, yeah, I speak pretty loudly. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Thank you so much. Totally unexpected. Ben pulled this on me and one of his dirty tricks. Greatly appreciated, Ben. Thank you. And everybody who played a role in this, I appreciate it very much. Patty couldn't be here tonight. I apologize. But I do have 3 boys. I've got a lot of sons. This is Paul County in the checkered shirt here, Drew County in the vest, and Peter County in the blue vest. So my boys, 3 of my boys are here. Thank you guys for coming. We all love Des Moines. I'm 80 years old. I've lived here my whole life. I'll always live here. And there are so many good things about Des Moines. This is probably the happiest room in Des Moines right now. It's such a great idea that you guys do this every year. It's very impressive. And it pays off, obviously. These awards are well-deserved and very important. My role, tiny role, I've had some luck in business, good fortune in business, so I'm able to give a little money away every now and then. And I love working with Ben Page and Des Moines Parks and Recreation because it's just a terrific group of people, a terrific staff. Everything that Ben promises, or anybody promises from Parks and Rec happens immediately. This guy doesn't know how to spell delay or anything like that. If he says he's going to do something, it gets done just like that, and it gets done well. So it's a great pleasure for me to be able to work with a group like Parks and Rec that does everything it promises. And we'll be watching the Reichart Center over at the old Dowling High School where I learned the term corporal punishment. I graduated in 1962. But we're going to watch the progress of the Reichart Neighborhood Center, which is very important for that very fragile part of Des Moines. So I could go on and on, I'm not going to, but thank you so much. Thank you, City Council, for supporting this wonderful team you have in the form of Parks and Rec, led by Ben Page. He's an amazing human being. Thank you, everybody.
Wade Fowler's impact reaches far beyond his 1.5 million social media followers, right into the heart of Des Moines' municipal cemeteries. Wade, also known as the Millennial Stone Cleaner, has repaired monuments at Glendale and Laurel Hill cemeteries and repaired over 100 Sims Cemetery monuments. This cemetery near the Iowa State Fairgrounds was established before the Civil War, and many of the stones were badly damaged or in need of resetting. And Wade decided to take it on, tackling the research, working with staff and cemetery volunteers to identify names and carefully locate stones. Each stone was cleaned, repaired, and reset, taking hours and hours of careful handwork. As Wade works through projects, he shares his adventures online, which you will see here shortly. Cemetery volunteer and local filmmaker Christine Bartley, who's here this evening, told Axios in an interview this year, the videos he posts are generating enthusiasm among a growing movement of cemetery savers. Maybe you've watched them. If you haven't, I encourage you to. Watching Wade's work is infectious. As I quoted earlier tonight, if you go out and make some good things happen, you will fill the world with hope. And I think that's what Wade started doing during the pandemic and why it has caught on. Like the stones pictured here. Wade stumbled upon this broken monument of a 2-year-old boy, which was more than 100 years old. He spent time repairing the stone and resetting this cradle grave. He gives people hope that there are good people doing good work out there in the world for others, out of the kindness of their heart. It makes you want to get out there and do good. Beyond restoration, he's documented veteran stones, contributed to our new woodland book, assisted in storm and tornado cleanup, and taken time to teach others in our community about the latest industry stone restoration practices. Wade, the over 900 hours you've donated in the past couple of years is truly inspirational. Just to give you all an idea of Wade's dedication to each and every stone, we wanted to share with you a quick clip of his.
This headstone had already fallen over and broken, put back by somebody else in the last few years, and it's already ready to fall over again. This headstone is of Philip Gans, born March 15, 1836, in Baden, Germany. This headstone was so eroded that the inscription's unreadable, so I got in touch with my friend Andy program that uses overlapping photos of the surface to estimate the missing stone, and it renders an image that I can then use to read the inscription. When he was just 30 years old in 1866, he married Pauline Augusta Schmeidel in Peoria County, Illinois. She was born in Saxony, Germany. In 1870, Philip and Augusta moved to Des Moines from Illinois, where Philip established a business as a furrier. A furrier is somebody who not only designs and creates custom furs for customers, but he also repairs them. Sort of a similar concept to a clothier. Phil had regular ads in the newspaper advertising his fine furs. Phil Gans is acknowledged as manufacturing of fine furs in central Iowa, quotes one of the newspaper ads. He also modernized old furs and made them look new and stylish. His business was thriving until his death at the age of 43, when he died of typhoid fever. And it's a bacteria that you get spread from contaminated food and water. And those of you like me that grew up playing Oregon Trail, you can vividly remember it. It was a very common issue in that era, and outbreaks like this spread quickly through the region.
Truly incredible for his leadership, preserving history, promoting volunteer engagement, and his efforts to restore our city's cemeteries. Please join me in honoring Wade Fowler as our 2024 Volunteer of the Year. Helping present his award this evening are Councilmember Mike Simonson, Parks Manager Mike Gall, and Cemetery Manager Ganesh Gampat.
We're twins, by the way.
I do see you 20.
Wait, I got a question they've been asking. How do they find you on social media? What do they look for?
Millennial Stone Cleaner,
How many followers?
1.5
Million.
million.
Wow.
Thank you. Wade would like to share a few words.
It's about 3 years ago, to this very day, that I was sitting on the 32nd floor of the Rwan Center. I was there for a job interview. Came down from Minnesota on a really, really cold day because one of my good friends said, "You want to come work for me?" And so this Minnesotan came to Iowa. I moved just a few blocks away from Woodland Cemetery, and beautiful, beautiful cemetery. I dropped a note into the cemetery office. The next day I hear back from Ganesh. He said, "This sounds really interesting. What is it that you do?" We went over, we met with Ben just around the corner from the office here, and we talked about this to figure out, could we do something here? And we were off and running. So I've put a lot of time and effort, but I've also traveled around the country doing this work. Been to 28 states in those last 3 years. And as a council and the board, I want you to know that the amount of money, time, effort, the volunteers, the staff that you've put together for the past many years has put Des Moines at the very top of cemeteries and cities around the country. The maintenance, the work that's been done, the conservation that's been done there is really important, and it's really seen. It's good for my social media if I can go out there and find something that's kind of broken and doesn't look good, because that helps me. But for somebody that wants to go buy a plot to put themselves in, that they're there for a long time, they want to have that confidence that it's going to be taken care of for a long time in the future. And so that investment that you've made on that, and that commitment that you've made, is really important, and it can be seen. And so I want you to know that I've seen a lot of cemeteries. I've been a lot of them. And Des Moines is right there at the top. You guys have done a really great job with that. Just in 2024, of the videos that I've put out there on social media, we've had 30 million views. That's just people that were filmed from here in Des Moines. People are looking at this from all around. So we've got eyes on us, but I wanted to thank Ganesh and his team. They've done a fantastic job. Ben has been there to support us. Christine and Mike, the people that were part of the book, my cemetery friends, if you will, they've been on camera with me a lot. So thank you to them. They've been out there in lots of videos. We've got a great video coming up on the Woodland book. We've just filmed that. That'll be coming out soon. Amber. I spend a lot of time out in the cemetery. I spend time with my quiet friends, if you will. And so to have a partner that appreciates that time, that effort that takes, it's a lot. So for me and my 1 million+ followers, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Our final honoree this evening is Rick Newman. I know that Rick was incredibly loved by his family. Thank you to everyone that helped gather photos, and a special thank you as well to Rick's brother, Alan Gray Newman, who's watching online, for his writings and contributions on family history. Rick Newman had a lifelong commitment to improving the quality of life in Des Moines. And to better understand Rick and this love of Des Moines Alan shared, Rick had relatives from both his father's and mother's side that settled in Fort Des Moines in 1856. This is the year it was named the new capital of Iowa, a town of about 2,000 inhabitants at the fork of the Des Moines and Raccoon Rivers. Alan shared he was not just from Des Moines, he was of Des Moines. Rick's great-great-grandfather, John McKay, owned and operated several coal mining companies in the Raccoon River Valley, among them the Coon Valley and the Standard Coal Companies. McKay later brought his son-in-law, Edward M. Gray, into the business, and by 1905, they had started to expand into mining sand and gravel at those sites. At John McKay's death, Edward Gray and his 24-year-old son, Gaylord Gray, incorporated the Des Moines Sand and Fuel Company in 1917. This was to fully expand the coal mining operations in the Raccoon Valley into mining sand and gravel. Concrete was the new material of the 20th century, and the Raccoon Valley had high-quality sharp limestone gravel and sand needed for this. One of the sites mined was at a large oxbow at the bend of the Raccoon River, on the south side of Des Moines in the broad, sandy floodplains. The excavations continued to the point that a good-sized lake was created. Because the Grays owned the mining operation that created the lake, it became known locally as Gray's Lake as it grew. Rick's grandfather envisioned a public park and lake access for Gray's Lake, and Rick's mother, Mary Jane Gray Newman, recalled much discussion of this in her youth. Gaylord Gray died in 1953 at age 59. His 4 children eventually closed the company and sold the company land, or their portion of the lake, to the city of Des Moines, hoping for the city to eventually realize their father's vision of a park and a lake to benefit and enhance the city. Prior to the sale, Rick, as a young boy, played in the sand and the water at the edge of the lake with his Gray cousins in the early 1950s when the mining operation was still active. Rick Newman, as an adult, was an award-winning lawyer, but even more importantly, a visionary leader who helped the city transform a former excavation site, which was home to his great-grandfather and grandfather's sand and gravel business, into what we know today as Gray's Lake Park. For over 25 years, he spearheaded fundraising and advocacy efforts to preserve and enhance the park, ensuring its beauty and accessibility for generations to come. As a tireless advocate, Rick carried on his family's tradition of service, dedicating countless hours to numerous boards, committees, and alliances, seeking to revitalize downtown Des Moines. He sat on the Iowa Innovation Council, Greater Des Moines Committee, Iowa Department of Economic Development Advisory Committee, Iowa Capital Investment Board, the Downtown Community Alliance, the Greater Des Moines Partnership, the Des Moines Pioneer Club, and the Grays Lake and Meredith Trail Advisory Committee, just to name a few. His work with the groups seeking to enhance Grays Lake Park as an asset to the city was part of this, and it meant a great deal to Rick over the decades. Most recently, he led the funding for the creation of a $2.5 million inclusive playground and sprayground at Grays Lake Park, a space blending recreation with environmental stewardship. As his brother said, he was not just from Des Moines, he was of Des Moines. And when we asked people in the community about Rick, they said the following. Mel Meredith shared, Rick has been a staunch supporter and avid user of Grays Lake and the connecting trail systems in Des Moines for decades. His steady advocacy and energy will continue to serve Grays Lake Park and the Des Moines community for years to come. I remember Rick always speaking with modesty and wisdom. Tom Kane said, Rick Newman was the epitome of a good citizen. He was deeply committed to the city of Des Moines. Consistent with his humble nature, he did much of his community work quietly behind the scenes. He worked tirelessly for the Des Moines Partnership, leading the governmental affairs group and advocating for Des Moines and Washington. He was a leader on the city-county consolidation initiatives. He made the preservation and improvement of Grays Lake a decades-long passion. Friends of Des Moines Parks Executive Director Sarah Lohmeyer said, "The Newman family has been invaluable supporters of Friends of Des Moines Parks for many years. Rick and Liz regularly participated in the annual 4-Hour Parks bike ride and generously contributed to various projects and programs. During Liz's formal tenure on our board, Rick's support was like having 2 active members, and they both played a key role in elevating the golf and bike event to our top annual fundraiser. Their dedication has left a lasting legacy on the Friends of Des Moines Parks and our community." And finally, our director, Ben Page, shared, "True volunteerism lies in the quiet acts of service that transform lives without seeking recognition." Rick embodied this spirit, dedicating a lifetime to enhancing our community's quality of life through his work to create and sustain Grays Lake as our crown jewel park, always choosing humility over accolades and leaving a legacy of impact that speaks louder than words. Rick's efforts have exemplified what it means to be a steward of public spaces, always thinking of how his contributions could positively impact future generations. He embodied the values of a true volunteer leader. His humility, kindness, and persistence inspired everyone who worked with him and everyone who loved him. In every project, he brought a warm sense of community and friendship, always inviting others to share his love for Grays Lake and for Des Moines. His family shared this photo with us taken the week before Rick passed, looking out over Grays Lake one last time. As his brother Alan said, he was not just from Des Moines, he was of Des Moines. Rick's passing leaves a void in our hearts and in our community, but his legacy will continue to live on through the spaces he so carefully cultivated and preserved. For his extraordinary dedication to Grays Lake Park and his lasting impact on our community, please join me in celebrating and honoring Mr. Rick Newman with our 2024 Lifetime Achievement Award. Accepting on his behalf is his wife, Liz Newman, and his family. Helping present his award this evening are Mayor Connie Bozen and Director Ben Page.
Well, I'll try. I'm not sure.
Liz would like to say a few words.
No, thank you, everybody. I guess I really can't, I'll just second everything that Jim said about this wonderful community and, wonderful organization that runs this community, and Ben, and I'm not going to get real far on this, but I'm honored to accept this on Rick's behalf. Okay, let me just say that's about all I can say. Said that this doesn't happen without a great team, and boy, do we have it in spades, so thank you, Rebecca.
Before we end this evening, thank you to our Director Ben Page and Assistant Director Jenny Richmond and Executive Assistant Rebecca Linhart for their help tonight and throughout the year. And to our City Communications team for working the cameras this evening, and Zoe for helping compile our annual video. I also want to thank my team, Rachel, Holly, and Katie over here. Anyway, they're the heartbeat that keeps it all running, including me. I'm incredibly blessed to work in a fun and supportive group, and we are only able to engage our community to this level because we have an incredibly passionate Parks and Recreation team. And without all of them in Parks, Recreation, Planning, and Administration, this would not be possible. Mayor Bozen, City Manager Sanders, council members, Chair Woodard, members of the Parks and Recreation Board, honorees, thank you for your volunteer service and your continued support of our city, our department, and our volunteers. I just cannot say it enough. Our volunteers continue to be the heart of our community, just connecting us all together through their service and sharing of their diverse skills and talents each and every day. And once again, we thank each of our award winners and all of our volunteers. We will leave you tonight with a few highlights from the past year, and we look forward to an amazing 2025. Katie, if you could hit the lights. Thank you.
Using volunteers is such a rewarding thing for our team, engaging volunteers in everything that we do.
When we can come back and refresh that and help it, it just makes us all feel so much better about our community.
They put the cherry on top for us. That's the beauty of volunteering. We bring people together to have a rewarding experience to give back to the community.
It just is personally meaningful to be a part of giving back and providing for future generations.
Volunteers only come back for one reason. It fulfills their personal mission of why they volunteer.
So coming out and working on a team and just seeing what can be accomplished in a single day is pretty rewarding.
It's also very rewarding to see that people care that much. They want to make our park system keep growing and being better.
First of all, I'll thank the board. This is the first board I served on in the city as a school board representative. And I would have to say, it's a fun board to be on. And when you see what you're doing and making a difference, and to all the volunteers, the difference you've made is why we're so proud to call Des Moines our home. And on behalf of myself, the city staff, the council, you make us what we are. You make this community where people want to work, live, and play. And we can't thank you enough. And I don't know what the rankings are, but I'd say we have the #1 park system. And we are so fortunate to have so many people that care so deeply about this community, because really, truly, without you, we would not be here today. And that's all I can say is, wow, what a great night. We can use a little happiness and hope, and we're so glad that everybody is here to help share that with us tonight, and thank you again.
So that concludes the ceremony. I want to thank you, and again, one more round of applause for all of our award winners.